but I'm not going to change my personality. Ain't nobody, they can't fire me. I make too much money to get fired. So they can't fire me.
I can tell you, I also spoke as co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously.
Charles Barkley is tearing up the ESPN playbook, and Shannon Sharpe is fuming. Chuck just scored a jaw-dropping $210 million deal and is walking around like he owns the place. He's refusing extra appearances, laughing at the suits, and practically daring ESPN to fire him. Meanwhile, Shannon's sitting on the sidelines, freshly cut from the same network after that messy scandal, and he's not taking it well. Shannon can't hide his frustration. He's calling out ESPN for letting Barkley slide, while he's stuck with lawsuits, strict morality clauses, and a boss breathing down his neck. Chuck, on the other hand, is flaunting his freedom and reminding everyone, including Shannon,
different radio national shows. And I said, I don't want to talk about LeBron James every freaking day, or Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers or all the bullshit you got to talk about. I don't want to do that every day. Now you're going to ESPN, and you've been critical of ESPN, particularly their coverage of the Lakers. What are your thoughts as this is your last season heading over?
Yeah, Dan, I'm not going to change. I'm going to do what I want to do. Nobody's going to tell me what to say or what to do. I thought I get upset. They're like the Lakers are contenders. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not contenders. Kendrick Perkins, who don't know his ass from a hole in the wall. He's like, the Lakers are contenders. Lakers are contenders. And I said, they're not contenders.
Exactly who's running the show behind the scenes. Why is Charles untouchable while Shannon got the boot? Let's break it down. Chuck recently sat down with Dan DeKeish on Outkick and dropped some bold truths about ESPN. He basically told his bosses, I'm not talking about the Lakers if I don't want to. Imagine saying that to the people signing your checks. ESPN can either deal with him or get out of his way. Before we go any deeper, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more wild insider drama. Now, normally, folks in Chuck's position would play nice to keep that paycheck rolling, but not Chuck. He flat out bragged that ESPN can't touch him because firing him would cost him a fortune. He even joked, if they fire me, they gotta pay me for 7 years. I might quit first, but if they wanna fire me, I'd love it. That's not just confidence, that's next level swagger. This is all thanks to his massive 10-year, $210 million contract he signed back in 2022. For ESPN, cutting him loose would mean coughing up the entire bag. So as long as he wants to break the rules, they're basically stuck watching him do it. And to make things spicier, Chuck isn't even trying to grind it out until he's old. He wants to retire on his own terms, unlike Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharpe, who are always hungry for that next contract.
Charles Barkley has reportedly agreed to a 10-year deal with TNT that's estimated to be worth over $100 million. Let's be honest, Barkley is arguably one of the most popular sports studio analysts out there, and he's in a landscape where salaries for sportscasters have just changed dramatically over the years. And if TNT were to let him go, it'd just be terrible, just terrible.
Earlier this year on NBA TV, Barkley even had fans gasping when he announced, next year is gonna be my last year on TV, no matter what. And this wasn't a bluff to get a bigger deal. He said he's already spoken to other networks and has zero interest in signing anywhere else. He's literally untouchable because he's got nothing to lose. When he sat down on Outkick again, he doubled down. Sure, he technically has 7 years left on his deal, but he's made it clear he won't be working the whole thing. And if ESPN fires him, he still collects every dollar. On top of that, Barkley flat out refused to do appearances on shows like Get Up, First Take, Sports Center, or any other ESPN sideshow. The network might want him everywhere to get their money's worth, but Chuck just doesn't care. And he's got one more curveball for ESPN. They're licensing inside the NBA next season since TNT lost the rights. That means Chuck will officially be on ESPN, but he's already saying he won't play along. He doesn't want extra work. He doesn't want forced appearances, and
for me personally, I wanted you guys to hear from me because I'm not doing any more interviews. Don't y'all be calling me. Nobody calling me. I'm not talking about this again, but I want to tell my NBA and NBA TV and TNT family that I'm not going to another network, but I'm going to pass the baton to either Jamal Crawford or Vince Carter or you, Steve. But next year, I'm going to just retire after 25 years, and I just want to say thank you.
He definitely doesn't want to share a stage with certain personalities. He even clowned Kendrick Perkins, saying he can't tell the difference between a hole in the wall and his own booty hole. With shots like that, good luck seeing those two smiling on camera together. Charles Barkley is breaking all the rules, and somehow he's walking away clean. And if anyone's salty about it, it's Shannon Sharpe. This is the same network that kicked him to the curb over a messy lawsuit, so of course he's feeling some type of way about Chuck. Word on the street even says Shannon had a few choice words for his coworker, but before he goes full meltdown mode, he needs to face reality. He and Chuck are not on the same level. Here's the truth. Shannon just doesn't bring that same star power. According to the New York Times, ESPN is cutting him a nice $6.5 million check to argue with Stephen A. Smith 2 days a week on First Take. That's cool money, but he's not the kind of talent ESPN will protect through a public civil lawsuit involving a woman barely out of her teens. Chuck, on the other hand, is a $210 million franchise all by himself. And it's not just fame, it's Disney's strict business style. They run ESPN with ironclad morality clauses that give them the power to drop it.
You know, there's been a lot of noise around our network the last few months. And I just want to say, I've talked to all the other networks, but I ain't going nowhere.
Anyone who even smells like bad press. Those contracts use vague words like public disrepute, humiliation, or scandal on purpose. So if your name gets messy, you're gone. And this time, Shannon gave them more than enough reason to show him the door. See, Shannon is 56 years old and got caught messing with a 19-year-old. That alone was a PR nightmare. And after last year's Instagram fiasco, where the whole internet got a peek into his bedroom, you'd think he'd have learned his lesson. Nope. Fans online were even joking that he should have made people sign NDAs by now. Disney doesn't play games with its brand, so of course they handled this problem fast. And it might even be permanent. Rumors say Shannon could already be banned from the network. Another insider claimed his career at ESPN is basically done.
The only decision we've been making is how long I'm on work. And I've been going back and forth with TNT for the last 2 months, whether I'm gonna work 2 years or 3 years. But if I really wanted to, I could stay for 7 years, which there's no chance of that happening. Zero.
Yet, a source familiar with the production insisted he's still on First Take every Monday and Tuesday, while the rest of the week is just scheduled time off. But the fact that these whispers are flying tells you everything about how fragile his position is. Even Stephen A. Smith hinted at how serious it got. He confirmed he spoke directly with Disney's CEO, who made it clear the Sharpe scandal wasn't being taken lightly. ESPN can't afford that kind of heat, not with advertisers breathing down their necks. And let's not forget, this wasn't even Shannon's first workplace problem. According to one insider, he was accused of choking a female production assistant back in his Fox Sports days between 2016 and 2023. This was long before his $50 million legal nightmare. Fox didn't fire him though. They quietly settled with the accuser for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Of course, Shannon's rep denied everything, insisting there was no choking incident and that any physical interaction on set was just playful. Fox Sports also refused to spill the details, keeping things quiet behind the scenes. But fans weren't buying it. They knew this industry protects its stars until the heat gets too high. Honestly, Disney and ESPN could have tried to keep him, but that would have caused a full-blown outrage. Former SportsCenter anchor Sage Steele even jumped in to slam how the network handled this circus. She vented on X, calling out what she sees as a broken system and hinting that Shannon's downfall was inevitable. ESPN and Disney have made it crystal clear. Having a conservative viewpoint can get you in trouble way faster than a messy personal life. Former employees have receipts to prove it. In response to a viral tweet saying, ESPN didn't re-up contracts for women with conservative views, but Shannon had multiple questionable incidents with women, former host Ashley Brewer-Kaminsky jumped in with her own story. She wrote, "Never forget when I got chewed out by my boss for posting a pic of a Republican congressman and UFC fighter on my Instagram story at the McGregor fight. LOL, FYI.
I can tell you, I also spoke. As co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously. And we are looking into this very, very closely.
Can you believe that? The network's strict no politics policy is ironclad. Even a quick Instagram story can get you called into the office. Meanwhile, Shannon's behavior was way worse, and he still managed to last as long as he did. Sage Steele knows this game too well. She was actually suspended just for criticizing Disney's COVID vaccine mandate. Compared to Shannon's drama, that feels like nothing, but keeping him around after everything could have sparked an all-out legal nightmare, with ex-employees lining up for wrongful termination suits. So really, Disney and ESPN had no choice but to cut him loose. Meanwhile, Barkley is the exact opposite of a liability. Sure, he's rebellious and loves teasing the network with retirement talk, but compared to Shannon, he's squeaky clean. That's why he's untouchable. Shannon, completely replaceable. Charles? Absolutely not. Even Stephen A. Smith, who went to bat for Shannon, admitted he wasn't surprised by Disney's decision. He said when he heard the news that Shannon and ESPN mutually agreed to part ways, it hurt him personally and hurt the show, but he wasn't shocked one bit. At the end of the day, Charles Barkley is bending the rules and cashing checks, and Shannon Sharpe is out in the cold. He can be mad all he wants, but if he's smart, he'll take a hard look in the mirror before he makes his situation worse. But now, we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Shannon or Charles? Do you think Shannon's anger is justified, or is he just paying the price for his own actions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping sports drama.